Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society, and welcome to my review show here of NXT Spring Breakin, Week 1, from April 23rd, 2024, from the Performance Center there in Orlando, Florida. Let's just crack on with it, mate. Let's crack on with it. We open up the show with General Manager Ava, with Adam Pearce in the room, with Nick Aldis on webcam. And I think Ava is settling into her role very well as general manager. I know some people have been a little critical of her, but I think she's doing good. And you know what? I just want to see her rocking a power suit, mate. I think she needs to dress a little bit more professional. We then see Trick Williams and Ilja Dragunov arriving to the building, looking confident, as well as the family. AT, are you fucking doing, Tone? Sol Ruca, Carmen Petrovich, and Natalya, and of course, Yeah, Carmen looks good, brother. Let's kick off with the first match up here. NXT Women's Title Triple Threat match. Roxanne Perez defends against Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. I thought this would be interesting considering Lyra's situation with Tatum and Roxy as well. Lyra started off going after Tatum before Roxy finally got involved. And Tatum kept on freaking everyone out, which is fantastic. I dig the character. They cut a good pace to open the show. After a commercial break, Lyra hit a double powerbomb off the second rope as Roxy and Tatum were battling on there. They applied triple threat psychology as they should in this one. There was a lot of suspense, and the crowd gave them a "This is awesome" chant and actually waited for the match to have become awesome before chanting it. Imagine that. I thought this was really good. Lyra and Roxy have great chemistry when it was just them two. Tatum really kept up with them. I think Paxley did the most impressive thing of this matchup. When she looked like she was going to win, she hit an amazing 450 splash on Lyra, who covered a bit of distance too, bro. Covered a bit of distance. But then Roxanne hit a very cool jackknife pin on Tatum to retain, out of Tatum going for a pinfall after that move. So killer finish. Roxanne Perez successfully retains in 12 minutes and 4 seconds. Let's move forward, bro. I was sad this week to hear that Von Wagner and Cameron Grimes have been released. They were a solid part of NXT 2.0, and I think that they were good. Grimes proved he could pull off being involved in storylines. He was always in a storyline in NXT. And unfortunately, it reared its ugly head again. The same old curse of the NXT talent being brought up to the main roster and them not really knowing what to do with them. Excuse me. I felt like, it's not like I watched the weekly shows of the main roster, but did Cameron really get given much to do up there at all? I don't think so. We didn't get to see that character that he portrayed in NXT on any level. So I thought that was a shame that he didn't get to show that range that he showed in NXT. And Von Wagner, as far as I'm concerned, I thought he was pulling off some great shit there in NXT recently. And I thought he was very entertaining and funny with this stuff with Mr. Stone, which now makes me worry and wonder what's going to become of Mr. Stone. Is he going to continue managing? I hope so, because they need more managers, and I think he's good at his job. Backstage, Thea Hale and Fallon, Henley, and Kalani Jordan are talking about their situation with Andre Chase and the whole thing going on with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix, etc. And they were standing so unnatural as usual, having a conversation while standing next to each other for the camera. It's always a pet peeve. Jaida Parker was sitting in the background and she overheard all of this and decided to give Fallon a hard time over this, spiel that Fallon gave about the situation, and Jaida gave her a push, and then Fallon shoved her back, and it was on for fucking young and old, mate. There was a pull apart, and that's how simple it is in NXT to start a blood feud. Someone just decided to be a bitch. There was a vignette for my boys, my homies, Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, who I've seen on NXT Level Up a few times, and I think that they are great so athletic, so entertaining, and they're only early into their career. I believe that they just finished up a feud with Hank and Tank on Level Up, and they debut on the main NXT roster next week. And as I say that, like they've got some releases going on, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hank and Tank got released. It's nothing against them. It just feels like that they never really had anything for them. The Creed brothers and Ivy Nile have an interview with Kelly Kincaid. They're there to check out the show and believe Trick Williams is going to whoop that trick. How many times do you have to hear that shit? I have to say, though, the Creeds are severely lacking in charisma. Hate to say it, but it's true. Six-man tag team match comes up next. The D'Angelo family, chatting Lorenzo, Luca Crucifino, and AT. How you fucking doing, Tony? You gonna eat that fucking cannoli? They take on the No Quarter Catch crew, Charlie Dempsey, Damon Kemp, Miles Bourne, no Drew Gulak. Things for this one got wild from the get-go, and by the way, Adriana Rizzo looked hot. Damn, bro. It might be cool if one day they do an angle where Stax wants to assume the Don's position. Luca and Adriana maybe have a bit of an affair. Stax finds out about it, gets them on board with him. Then they all end up turning on Tony. That'll be interesting. Not yet, though. I think the group needs to be brought to the main roster together. Maybe give them another 6 months in NXT. Maybe give them another year. I'm sure that won't hurt, but you know, I think Tony's going to really work well on the main roster. This just, again, the thing is they got so many people up there. It's so stacked. Like, what are you going to do with a Tony D'Angelo? Like, Sheamus just came back, you know? We'll see. So the NQCC isolated Stax. It felt like this angle really came out of nowhere. I guess they had to explain why Drew Gulak was gone because he apparently grabbed someone's drawstrings, which doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? What, he was trying to like look at a vagina? Like, come on, dude. It's Ronda Rousey. Why would he do that? Like, if it was an accident, he says it's an accident, then how about we just, I don't know, let bygones be bygones and just be like, oh, everyone makes a mistake. You never heard anything bad about Drew Gulak before this, so come on. It's obvious that sorry, I'll say this. Tony D came in for a hot tag and started laying people out. Crucifino and Stax have taken FTR's finisher, which I find quite funny. I don't know why. It's their move. Tony D ended up getting the pin on Charlie Dempsey, and the D'Angelo family got the win. Fucking yeah. And they won in 11 minutes and 5 seconds in 11:05. I'm also writing my review for realprowrestling.com. Please check out our, I guess this website's kind of in conjunction with the Slam Society. We're all in cahoots with one another. So please, let's try that again. www.realprowrestling.com. Okay, Baron Corbin is leaving NXT, most likely. Lexis King walks up to him and gives him a gift package of Lexis King merch and, a few bits and bobs, yeah? So now they shall wrestle tonight because of this. It's just simple as that, SR. Coming up next. Singles match, Fallon Henley takes on Jaida Parker without Damad at ringside. I was like, what is this bullshit? Fallon Henley's entrance being put on through the commercial break. Excuse me? No, I don't think so, bitch. Fallon is again one of the most active women on the NXT roster. I just have noticed that she seems to be in the ring almost every week, and I think she's ready for the main roster as well. Again, I have to say, Jesus, they've got a lot of people up there. And apparently they've got like 10 to 20 people who are TV ready right now to come onto NXT, but there's no space. And what's going to happen after this draft? I don't know, but I think they need to really, I've said it before, I'll say it again. They need to make Level Up 1 hour long, and they need to have their own storylines on Level Up, and they need to utilize that show to get more people reps, to get more people up there on the roster. Because they already do that, but the show's only 30 minutes long. Anyway, I find it humorous that they've got so many baddies in NXT now. Several of them have signature moves that utilize their butt. You know why? Because a lot of women in NXT got that butt, baby. And that's a compliment, you know. And I don't want anyone to be like, oh, that's such. No, no, no. It's hot people became hot because they like to be told that they're hot. So, and I'm not too bad looking, so it's okay coming from a not so bad looking guy. If it's coming from someone who's ugly, then it's really creepy, right? That's how it works. Anywho, Jaida has got really good in a short amount of time. Not to say that she wasn't good at the beginning, but she's only had a few matches at this stage, and I think she's really starting to fire on all cylinders. I just, for some reason, and I know I go on about hair a lot, which is rich coming from a bald guy, but Jaida, something about her hair isn't right. She needs to do something that makes it look a little bit more, stand out. So it's very bland. Jaida hit Fallon with a hip check and beat Fallon clean, which I was very surprised by because Fallon's been getting that push, yo. And I just can't believe that she lost to somebody who has been there, only for a cup of coffee so far. 6 minutes, 30 seconds. Let's move forward, you little son of a bitch. JCJ cuts a promo on Thea Hale. This is surely leading to a showdown next week, right? I mean, that's what you would think. I love that Jasmine Nix in the background. She's just nodding and, making like just agreeing with everything JC's saying. She's in character, and I don't know. I just think it's funny. And she agrees with everything that she's saying because they're baddies, bro. Jasmine could have piped in or should have piped in after JC made her final point and just said, yeah, bitch. That would have been funny. As far as I'm concerned, that's what went through my head at the time. Let's move forward. Lola Vice cuts a promo on how she's going to beat Natalya at NXT Underground next week. Let's move forward. JD McDonough interview with Kelly Kincaid. They're really making the main event seem important by having a bunch of main roster people go out there and give their suggestions, thoughts, estimations on who's going to win the NXT Championship match. And I like the fact that at the end of the segment, Kelly Kincaid went back to ringside. Why can't we do that anymore instead of having them just stare off into the distance when the guy's done talking or the lady's done talking? I've done that before and I hate it. I hate it. Lola Vice and Natalya have a contract signing for next week's NXT Underground. It's the first ever time that two women will be in the match. Carmen and Natalya come out together, and Carmen Petrovich is wearing a fantastic outfit. And you want to know why I think it's a fantastic outfit? I'll tell you why. Should have seen her wearing those shorts and how it complemented her figure. Sexy, bro. Speaking of sexy, Lola Vice came out next. Here we go. Lola's theme. She better not change that song. It is super sexy. And then when she shook her butt as she was standing at the ring post, I was just like, who can even handle that? My favorite line of this whole thing was her saying, just because I shake my ass doesn't mean I can't beat your ass. That's great, dude. Lola has a mystery training partner, and it was introduced to be Shayna Baszler, which is stepping all of this up a notch considering she used to be Natty's former tag team partner. When it comes to Shayna, it's like she's been at a standstill. What are they doing with her? Because ever since she beat Ronda Rousey in that match, which sent Ronda out of the company, Shayna has not taken advantage of that win and climbed the ladder. She hasn't really done anything at all as far as I can see, except for performing Bloodsport 10. Natalya threw Lola onto people. Shayna made fun of the fact that Carmen Petrovich was the trading partner of Natalya, and then Carmen hit a sweet roundhouse kick, I guess you'd call it, to Shayna in the head, who sold it like a champion. Really put over Carmen Petrovich. And then Natalya brawled with Lola and threw her onto a row of dudes at ringside who all took the bump, which was a funny and awesome visual. Lola looked really cool at the end of the segment as she stared down Natalya and Carmen. Let's move forward. Ridge Holland rocks up with his gear earlier in the day when he's not even on the card. I know it's all recorded in the same day, but we have to pretend that things happen from week to week. Sean Spears comes out to get in Ridge's ear about listening to his demons and, you know, that side of him that that led Ridge to have a early retirement before coming back like that week. So I called it. Ridge will be aligned with Sean very soon. It's obvious to me. Backstage, Axiom and Nathan Fraser, the NXT Tag Team Champions, were standing watching the TV screen. With their title belts over their shoulders, they complained about the Authors of Pain and the main roster tag teams coming to NXT wanting title shots. The Good Brothers show up and back up the words, which is obviously hypocritical because they're from the main roster. Then Edris Enofi piped up and started talking a big game, but then he knocked over a mirror and it broke. 7 years bad luck. The storyline has begun. Coming up next, Beach Brawl match. Blair Davenport takes on Sol Ruca. The match began as Blair hit Sol with a boogie board, and there's no way that hurt because I used to do backyard wrestling, and when we were 12 years old, we didn't have steel chairs. We used boogie boards, and I know they don't hurt. Blair got a donut floaty put on her, and she acted trapped into it, which is hilarious. It's just like, just move your arms and slink out of it. It's wrestling, isn't it? Sol and Blair brawled at the outside, and it was essentially a hardcore match with beach-related gear because it's a beach brawl. Davenport got an X Factor into an inflatable pool with balls in it. It was silly to start with. They got in the ring and went back and forth. I think Blair, personally, should be the first women's North American champion. So glad NXT have now given the women in their company layers. You got to win this first, and then you got to win the next thing. It's great. I like it. I fucking like it. They set up the picnic table, and Sol held Blair on her back and jumped backwards and put Blair through it. It's like a piggyback bomb. That looks sick. Great sound effect too. Sol Snatcher was the move that got the win for Ruca here. Straight after that, and she totally wins this feud, and Blair goes 0-2 against her. And the last half of this match, as far as I'm concerned, was better than the first half, and this match went 10 minutes and 29 seconds. Trick is on the phone to his mother, who isn't well, and she asks him tonight to whoop that Trick. Johnny Gargano shows up to talk to Trick and give him some words of encouragement. Singles match, Baron Corbin takes on Lexis King. Lexis got on early on Baron, and to be honest, Baron's run in NXT has been excellent, but perhaps it's time. It's time to head back to the main roster, bro. Vic and Booker T arguing commentary was fantastic in this. Vic was sticking up for himself. Lexis really took it to Baron, and I couldn't pick who was going to win. I thought Lexis needed a big win. If Baron is headed back to the main roster, though, do we have Baron lose to somebody who's going to be in NXT? Don't know. Finish of the match, Baron got field goal kicked, and he hit, Lexis hit the coronation to get the biggest win of his career. After the match, Vic and Booker argued even more, and I can't get enough of it. 5 minutes, 38 seconds. Ilja is on his way to the ring, and he gets interviewed by Sarah Schreiber on the way, and he's done talking. And as he's done talking, I'm sorry, Damian Priest, the World Heavyweight Champion, showed up to give luck to Ilja. Are we foreshadowing something? Then, as the segment crosses to Byron, Damon puts his arm around Sarah and says, "How you doing?" Damn it, bro. I hope it worked. I hope even though it was a work, that it worked and that you got to, you know. Trick Williams has a sick robe on as he's headed to the ring, and Byron Saxton asks him about the match, and Trick means business, bitch. Here we go. Main event, WWE, NXT, Heavyweight Championship. Ilja Dragunov, the champion, taking on Trick Williams. It was ferocious from the onset before Ilja fought back, but then it hit a stalemate. They showed each other some mutual respect with a hug, and then Ilja clocked Trick with a big knee before the commercial break. Ilja goes coast to coast, which I think is so risky when you don't have a trash can to kick into them. The fans were supremely behind Trick, and Ilja was the perfect guy to be a tweener here for something like this. Trick hit the H-bomb, but Ilja kicked out. Trick, excuse me. Yes, Trick hit the H-bomb. Ilja kicked out. Then Trick hit the Torpedo Moscow. So he's doing Ilja's moves. 2 count. Ilja fought back with a Death Valley driver in the corner. Then he set up the announce table for impact, but Trick countered, dickhead. Yeah, that looks sick, though. He hit a goddamn bookend off the barricade through the table. As we got back into the ring, Ilja fought back again with gusto. Hit a superplex. A superplex. An H-bomb, then a super H-bomb, and it was a near fall. Great facial expressions from Dragunov. He hit a second super H-bomb, and it hurt his arm, and the hesitation when the pain registered costed Ilja the win here. They both went for the win, and what do you know? Trick Williams hit the trick shot, and Trick Williams became the NXT heavyweight champion. Crazy, dude. It was a tremendous episode of NXT Spring Breakin as Trick Williams finally fulfilled an early destiny in his career, knowing how he struggled in the ring in the early days. To see him grow so quickly in the last year to become the man of NXT was a sight to see, brother. There we have it, everyone. So I'm going to pause it right now, and I'm going to bring up some tweets from this show. I've got to remember to get the tweets screenshotted before I start recording, so I don't have to keep pausing it like that. Anywho, let's get on with it, hey? Tweet number 1 here from Black and Introverted at S Stara. Seeing the rise of Trick Williams has been such a delight. Glad I got to see it live. I'm jealous, bro. Congratulations. I am jealous. Tim Bowman at Tim Bowman Media. I haven't seen NXT in a long time, but NXT Spring Breakin was a really good show. The main event between Trick Williams and Dragunov for the title was great. The way they built up the match and story with how big the crowd reacted made it even better. You know what, Tim? Congratulations for giving it a shot and enjoying it, because NXT is being slept on by so many people now. And I think people need to check it out because the wrestling's just as good as it is in AEW, but the storylines are better than WWE and AEW. And, you know, you got all the different flavors there that you're looking for. And the show is quick and snappy. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing, next thing, next thing. We don't have 20-minute matches. We don't have every match go over 15 minutes like some places who have to have a 4-hour pay-per-view. We don't have only 4 matches on a pay-per-view and plod along the show too slowly. NXT is snappy. So I hope you keep watching, Tim, because it's nice to see people out there give it a chance and realize how good it is. Stu at Serial Killer Stu. I had a feeling Roxanne Perez would retain, which is sad because she's a boring champion, a boring heel, and likely to be drafted anyway. Hashtag WWE NXT. Hashtag NXT Spring Breakin. Stu, she's been champion for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. A boring heel. She was suited to being a heel because when she was a babyface, she was a psycho hose beast. I don't know why you think she's a boring heel. I think she's actually doing a good job as a heel because she's literally annoying me every time I watch her. She's doing a good job. I don't think she's boring. I think you need to just let it go on for a little bit and see how you feel. They weren't going to have a title switch this early on. This isn't 1999. Okay, the last tweet that I'm going to bring up here is one that really I like what this person had to say, but the subject that it's about really annoys me. And this is where I get annoyed with AEW fans, and I know that there's the tribalism out there and there are toxic WWE fans out there too, but the diehard AEW fans are seriously the worst thing about fandom in professional wrestling right now. Seriously. Because you tell them a fact, you tell them a cold, hard fact, and they still say no. You show them proof and they still say, no, it's not true. I had an argument a little while ago with somebody about AEW pulling in hundreds of millions of dollars of profit every year. And I'm like, that's not true. Well, their revenue is, revenue. doesn't count how much they've spent. And the guy still wouldn't accept it. I'm like, dude, they lost like over $30 million last year. You just have to Google it and you'll see. And he still wouldn't. And he's like, no point talking to you. I'm muting you now. Like, okay, so I was right and you were wrong. Like, they won't accept it. They can't allow their feeble mind and their feeble thoughts to actually be, I don't know, given the facts and whatever. It's 11 p.m. They can't handle it. Anyway, mark it out. Trick Williams, Ilja Dragunov did a spot to finish the match at Spring Breaking, which was a callback to their match at NXT Vengeance Day last year. And it caused the AEW fans to melt down because it was the finish to Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at Dynasty. And when pointed out, they wouldn't accept it, apparently. They already did the spot. They did the spot and Ilja came out on top. So maybe Ospreay and Bryan Danielson, maybe they copied the finish. Or maybe they didn't. It's possible that they might have, I don't know, the same idea, considering they both do finishes that are quite similar like that, where they charge at their opponent. So, no, NXT did it first. Imagine that. I swear to God, these fans, they're so delusional. It blows my mind how delusional they are. Anyway, that was a great main event, and I think that main event was better than Danielson versus Ospreay there, because they didn't have to kill each other and kick out of everything in order to get their match over. People were emotionally invested, and they suspended their disbelief watching it. You watch Danielson and Ospreay, they're just doing stuff, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, he'd probably kick out of that, or he might not kick out of that. That's it. Anyway, there's my review of NXT Spring Breakin here on the Slam Society. Please subscribe. Please like this video. Please share it. Please share the Slam Society. We just hit 2,000 subscribers. We're pretty chuffed. But please, anything you can do, we would appreciate it if you are a fan of what we do. So once again, Dankeschön for being here with me for the NXT Spring Breakin review here for week 1, which I'm also giving a 8 out of 10. So I'm Karlifornia, and I will see you this weekend for my reviews of AAA Triple Mania and Stardom Grand Star Queendom. We'll see you then.